Assalamu alaikum, good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of Talking Point. I'm your host, Syed Neaz Ahmad. In our studios today, we have a very prominent personality who has done a lot for the British curry industry. If you have guessed, that's right, that's Mr. Inam Ali, MBE, FIH. He is a British Bangladeshi businessman, founder of British Curry Awards, a Spice Business magazine, and the Raj restaurant, and he also has established an academy for curry chefs. One of the most prominent British Asian personalities, known for his leadership and passion, and also for his concern in general for the community, but particularly for the British curry industry. Recently, he was awarded an Outstanding Contribution to the Industry Award by Institute of Hospitality Awards. He has also been awarded an event award, which he will explain himself. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Thank you very much for having me on.
I know it was a terrible drive today.
Absolutely.
The city is like chock-a-block. I spent 2 hours on the road.
Same, yes, same as me, and it's difficult. I think we live not very far from.
Yes, Alhamdulillah, we have made it.
So I made it. And
I know you're very busy. The new event coming up, 26th of
26th of November.
Monday. This is what is this number? You started in 2005, the British Curry Award.
This is 14th.
14th, mashallah. And how time flies. And you have graduated many times in this.
Well, I'm trying my best, Nizbai. All you can do is try. That's really it goes on.
Like many other industry, business, British curry industry is also not without problems. But there's always some silver lining far away on the horizon, but it is there, I understand. It has its ups and downs. It has about 10 billion worth turnover annually, a spices industry.
4.5, of course, just
what they say, because including the food and all that, it is 10 billion. See, the main problem is I've been listening, reading, and hearing about it is shortage of a staff. Now, some 50% of the staff, I understand, are from the East European community.
Well, I don't know whether it's 50%. Some restaurants are running by even more than that. Some restaurant again is maybe 30%. So I don't have a real figure exactly what 50% or 30% or 60%. But there is a significant amount of people from Eastern European are supporting the business. Without them, I think hundreds of restaurants have been closed. So front of house, back of house, and they don't have any choice. So
you look at it as a positive happening, or you think that this is not good enough, we need our own?
Well, this has a positive thing because you are learning to interact and perhaps to involve with other community and see how they react and how they can able to manage. So that's the experience is the positive things. And the negative things is still people are suffering because everything you do in terms of first generation of innovation for development of product or service, it has always for consequence. So this is the negative things, and restaurateurs keep on crying out for real skilled people who has traditional or cultural knowledge behind, so they're easier for them. Don't have to repeat the one work again because genetically they knew exactly what its spices are and what is actually it's all about. So always restaurateur has the advantage on your own people.
But the waiters don't need to cook.
Yes,
or no
they
need to understand that much of
yeah,
the spices.
of course, yeah. Because of that reason, I think we are managing with front of house, but still back of house is a very difficult situation to run the restaurant. But front of house is still, I would say, your own people are far better than perhaps other community in means of explaining dishes and selling the product because they knew very well. And if you imagine one of the different community people, they are serving your customer. They will be difficult for them to explain. Perhaps they're going to go back
what
to
is Vindaloo.
Yeah, they have to go back to chef and ask them. And the other disadvantage is is those people who are working, they're very nice people, of course, they're working in various restaurants, very successfully they have running some of the restaurant working Eastern European. But the difficult I hear from my community
Right.
and restaurant sector is people, they don't come here for taking as a profession.
Right.
That their economy not migrant,
Yeah.
the worker, if you know what I mean. They just come here to earn money and they go back.
they will go back,
They
isn't
go
it?
back. So the seriousness of job is only people who take as a profession, anything, any skill.
Right.
So that's the difficult part. And then whenever you train them, so restaurateur is training one person for their, the way they run their restaurant.
It takes about 10, 20
Yeah,
years.
20
isn't it?
years. But not, I'm talking of front of house. If you imagine someone give it 3 months of the time to somebody who hasn't done work in the front of house in terms of how to serve people, how to communicate people, how to engage the customer with the food and your restaurant as a brand and your food and quality and everything. It's difficult for
Can we take a step backwards? What happened to those experienced chefs that you had before? They've retired?
No, I
Become
think,
old?
yeah, one generation has retired and there's a huge significant amount of shortage. And the second reason is another generation has got married and they have their family. So for them, their chosen field is different sector, which is, this is something they work on based on they're more independent, they are more able to go their own time. So they have more freedom, if you know what I mean. But when you're working in our sector, it has, I don't think anybody can imagine what it Saturday look like in the high state because they don't have the time. So this is the life you got to commit. And
even the owners of the restaurant, they say the same thing. I do this show on Fridays, and some of my very distinguished guests say that, Neaz, I can't come on Friday because it's a very busy day for me.
yeah, it is. It is.
I'm thankful to you for coming along on Friday.
No, Friday, Saturday, of course, the busiest day for every restaurant. But there's a restaurant running by, like ourselves, running a restaurant. Don't have to be there, but it's because of this difficulty, our situation, always being there, playing your part as a host. As you probably remember, I said in the Channel 4 interview, this is a very community-led restaurant.
True.
And it's the business model is far different than other chain restaurant. So our business model is credit goes to first generation, and I always salute them. And this is a unique business model they have created to engaging local community. No other community has achieved.
They deserve all the praise for establishing restaurants because they themselves were never cooks. They were not chefs, you see,
Yeah.
trained. It was compelled by the circumstances.
They came in with their humble, maybe experience with their mother cooking, and look what they developed in this country is amazing. So credit goes to them, and still no restaurant in the country can run without their footprint.
Sure.
And so I was very proud of them, and I always try to praise as much as I can and remember them, and I tribute them, and I did 2005. I think Theresa May, she was there as a first guest of honor at British Curry Award, and now she's a Prime Minister. And we stood up and we we put all those heroes, unsung heroes on the screen, and we stood up and remain 1 minute silent to tribute our great room we are celebrating. There would have been dream for them. So we just thought still to remember them and respect them and make sure their contribution never die, and still we can pass it to new generation. It didn't happen by institute of university have developed a concept and everybody follow. No, it's a very different model, very different way it's been
a
developed.
hands-on experience.
Hands-on experience and demand by British people and my community's heroes. They're developing it, and they have done this, and it's just fantastic.
Do you think that the demand has changed over the years from the British community that they are your clients, they are your patrons?
I think they are much more knowledgeable in the Indian food. When if you look at statistic, almost 100 household, you will find 50% people are cooking a curry and a rice, And that's a real success story. If you go to supermarket, if you look at the volume of our curry on the shelf, it has been increased. So it has
it goes to you.
Yeah, it has increased. At the same time, the eating habits is changed overall. Not only the curry houses, is every sector. If you look at your lifestyle has been changed. You're looking for convenient food much more than perhaps going to the certain place and experience, because we don't have a time. So that is perhaps I would say knowledge economy generation. We are stepping in. It's not anymore physical labor. Generation has maybe getting slimmer, because new generation feel we can able to sell our knowledge and intelligence and do our business rather than do physical labor. So that's the biggest problem in coming to the world as a global
as the pressure
citizen.
increases, as the pressure increases, you see that there are frozen curry available in supermarkets, as you said, and people are rushing from work to home, as you see. On the way back, they just pick up a packet or two, slam it in the microwave, and after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the food is ready. You see, it's cheaper,
yes,
and quicker,
yeah,
but not the same.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously.
What actually the Bangladeshi restaurant, Indian restaurant offer is no way you can match your supermarket, because they have much more chemical and preservative led the food which they serve, and it's cheap and cheerful because it's volume. They have made by machine, and they have distributed and serving this, and it's a chill food. You just reheat and
okay, Nambaid, we need to take a break.
Sure.
Thanks for being with us, and we'll be back after a very short break. Thank you. Don't go away.